Bienvenue mes amis and welcome to another great episode of Bonjour and all that. Remember, this is the video series that the Spanish Club at Ukulele High School in Birdsnot, Kentucky does not want you to see. Today, well, I'm afraid we're going to have to get a little bit negative. No, I really mean it. We're going to have to get negative because we're learning how to form negatives in French. A pretty clever segue, don't you think? All right. Well, negative is just how you say things like not, taking an affirmative statement and making it a negative statement. And here I have an affirmative statement, as you can see. And no, you're not seeing double. I've got it put on the screen twice for a good reason, which you will see in a moment. But let's start off with the sentence, Je partage. Now, partage comes from the verb partager, a regular ER verb. It means to share. Je partage. Okay, that's not a negative statement. That's an affirmative statement. It's saying something positive. All right, it's saying I share. All right, but we want to make this sentence negative. We want to say I do not share. Okay, yeah, we're really going back to our very young childhood days when nobody wanted to share. All right, let's see how we do that in French. Okay. All right, there you see the meaning of the sentence, I share. Now, watch what happens. Whoops, where'd it go? Ah, there it is. It came back. I wonder why it moved. Well, let's find out. Interesting. And even more interesting. Now, what does all that mean? Well, that's how you say I do not share in French. The French use an interesting way of making a sentence negative. They take the phrase ne pas, all right, and they put it actually around the verb, which is really kind of interesting when you think about it. So the ne goes in front of the verb, always right in front of the verb, and the pas goes directly after the verb, always after the verb. And so it's like the ne and the pas are hugging the verb. And I'm telling you, they don't like to hug anything else. Don't try to throw a subject pronoun in there. They don't like to hug those. They don't like to hug adjectives. They don't like to hug adverbs. They just like to hug a verb. And that's what they're doing here. Je ne partage pas. I do not share. Okay, so the French actually use an expression to put around the verb. A little bit differently than we do it in English. But I kind of like it. All right? Je ne partage pas. And that will work for any verb. Okay? Well, let's not stop there. Let's keep on going. All right, we've got our same sentence up there, je partage. Let's see what I'm going to do with that now. All right, again, it means I share. All right. Oops, there goes the je again. Will it come back? But of course. All right. Oops, there's the ne again. Oh, look at that. Now we have a new expression, ne jamais. Well, you've probably guessed by now that's another negative expression. And now this means I never share. Je ne partage jamais. Ne pas means not. Ne jamais, around the verb, means never. Je ne partage jamais. I never share. Are there more? Well, of course. We'll move on. There again, we've got je partage, I share. All right. What new negative will we come up with? Okay, we're going to move our je over to make way for the ne. You guessed it. And now what? Je ne partage plus. Je ne partage plus. Now we have the expression ne plus around the verb. And that's how you say, I no longer share. Je ne partage plus. All right, so ne pas around the verb means not. Ne jamais around the verb means never. And now ne plus around the verb means no longer. Are there more? Let's find out. There we have je partage. We know that means I share. All right, let's move the je over to make room for the ne. And what could be next? Very interesting word. I like to say this one. Rien. Rien. Je ne partage rien. Je ne partage rien. And that means I share nothing. So when you put the expression ne rien around the verb, that's how you say nothing. Je ne partage rien. I share nothing. So you see how all these negative expressions work the same way. They all contain the introductory part of the negative expression, which is ne, and then they each have a different kind of ending to the expression, which indicates, of course, what kind of negative you're talking about. All right, so, now there's something different. I wonder what this is all about. Let's find out. Tu oublies. That means you forget. Oubli comes from the verb oublier, a regular ER verb. That means to forget. You'll notice I have my ES ending there because that's the ending for ER verbs in the to form. Tu oublies. You forget. All right. Oops. I think you know what's going to happen now. We're moving our tu over. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we have an apostrophe and then our pas. Here's what I wanted to show you about this. Ne is like je, in that anytime it comes up next to a word that begins with a vowel, we get rid of the E and we put an apostrophe and we just put the two words together so that it flows better. The French don't like those two vowel sounds coming together. They think it sounds too choppy to say tu ne oublies pas. So instead we say tu n'oublies pas. And you do have to admit that that flows a lot better. Okay? So whenever ne is followed by a verb that begins with a vowel or an H, we're going to do the N apostrophe. All right? So that's why I'm showing this to you, to show you that the ne changes just a bit. Tu n'oublies pas. You do not forget. Okay, well, what more surprises could we have in store? Let's find out. A very handy summary table here. As you can see, I've got all of my negatives here, negative expressions with their English translations, and I've got one set where there is a verb that starts with a consonant, and then another set where the verb starts with a vowel. All right, and so you can see je ne partage pas, I do not share. Je ne partage jamais, I never share. Je ne partage plus, I no longer share. And je ne partage rien, I share nothing. Tu n'oublies pas, you do not forget. Tu n'oublies jamais, you never forget. Tu n'oublies plus, you no longer forget. And tu n'oublies rien, you forget nothing. Oh, and wouldn't that be a convenient talent to have? All right, just one last review here. Ne pas around the verb means not. Ne jamais around the verb means never. Ne plus around the verb means no longer. And ne rien around the verb means nothing. And that reminds me, I have nothing more to say about negatives in French. All right, so go out there and practice being negative. Every now and then, it's okay. All right, I'll see you later, of course, for another great episode. Au revoir, mes amis. À plus tard.